Welcome to this video on safety concepts and disaster control. In this video, we will explore the fundamental goals of safety and the procedures for effective disaster management. The core goals of safety include accident prevention and control. It is vital to protect human life, property, and the environment. By fostering a quote, safety-first culture, staff and workmen can commit to a secure and productive work environment. When an accident occurs, a structured procedure must be followed. The reporting flow typically moves from the shift in charge to the department head, then to the managing director, and involves the safety officer, ensuring all necessary government authorities are notified. Risk assessment is crucial in industrial settings. It measures the probability of harm from chemical or physical agents. Risk is defined as the mathematical product of hazard, exposure, and vulnerability, allowing organizations to manage potential threats effectively. Managing industrial risk requires a systematic workflow. We begin with hazard identification to pinpoint potential threats. This moves into hazard and scenario analysis, where we evaluate two critical pathways simultaneously: the likelihood of an event occurring and its potential consequences. By combining the probability of the hazard with its ultimate severity, we can accurately quantify and manage the overall risk. A disaster is a sudden, calamitous event that severely disrupts a community or society. It inflicts widespread human, material, economic, and environmental losses that completely exceed the affected community's ability to cope using its own resources. Therefore, the core objective of disaster management is taking proactive, deliberate actions to prevent a hazard from escalating into a full-scale disaster. Hazards come from various sources and are categorized into 5 key areas. Geological hazards include earthquakes, landslides, and tsunamis. Water and climatic hazards cover cyclones, floods, and droughts. Environmental hazards encompass pollution and deforestation, while biological hazards involve epidemics and food poisoning. Finally, accident-related hazards include forest or urban fires, industrial accidents, and major structural collapses. The disaster management framework is split into 2 primary phases: risk management and crisis management. Before a disaster event occurs, risk management proactively focuses on mitigation, including vulnerability assessments and structural design, followed by prevention and preparedness efforts like planning and training. Once a disaster event strikes, the focus pivots immediately to crisis management. This initiates the emergency response phase, providing immediate relief, search and rescue, and first aid. Operations then transition to long-term recovery, incorporating restoration, rehabilitation, and reconstruction, before finally returning to regular community development. Pre-disaster activities are foundational to safety. These include developing local disaster policies, conducting vulnerability assessments, implementing prevention and mitigation strategies, and ensuring thorough training and planning. Emergency activities must be swift and decisive. They include issuing warnings, carrying out search and rescue operations, conducting evacuations, and providing immediate relief like food, water, and medical aid. Post-disaster activities focus on long-term recovery. This includes the repair and restoration of critical infrastructure like power and water, as well as broader reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts. Preventative measures are essential to minimize disaster impacts. We strictly enforce the National Building Code and Indian Standard Codes for all factory constructions. We focus on upgrading building safety, ensuring facilities against natural hazards, and restricting construction in high-risk zones. Furthermore, we actively engage local communities and NGOs through educational literature and awareness programs to foster a collective culture of safety. Building resilience also involves mandatory insurance policies based on scientific hazard data. Education, creating literature in local languages, and collaborating with NGOs further strengthen a community's ability to mitigate disasters. Effective preparedness saves lives. This requires clear communication plans, population warning systems, and well-maintained emergency services. We advocate preparing disaster supply kits, like 72-hour survival packs containing food, medicine, and flashlights, while safeguarding valuable assets. Finally, because professional emergency workers can be quickly overwhelmed during major crises, we heavily focus on developing organized teams of trained civilian volunteers. Beyond kits, it is important to secure valuable items in safe locations. Organizing trained civilian volunteers is also vital, as they serve as a critical resource when professional emergency workers are overwhelmed. Finally, an effective response plan involves controlling the disaster to eliminate hazards, minimizing environmental damage, ensuring timely evacuations, and prioritizing both the welfare of personnel and accurate headcounts. Following a disaster, the primary focus shifts to post-incident control. This includes providing medical treatment for the injured, assisting their families, collaborating with statutory authorities and the media, and conducting a thorough investigation while preserving essential records. Our on-site emergency plan details exactly how we respond to an incident within the plant perimeter. Once an incident is detected via automated systems or personal approach, it is instantly communicated via telephone or walkie-talkie to the plant and fire control rooms. Sirens are blown as required, and teams rush to the site. The incident is then classified as minor, an emergency, or a disaster, with the ultimate goal of achieving an all-clear status. If a hazard escapes the factory boundaries, the emergency team immediately contacts the district magistrate, police commissioner, and central control room to declare an off-site emergency. From this point, responding police personnel take charge of law and order, traffic control, and public evacuations. Using public address systems, they advise surrounding localities on protective steps and potential safety risks. Thank you.